Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Carlos, but online I am known as Neto Canessa. Nice to meet you. I thought that for my first video, as an icebreaker, I would do a spit drawing of one of my favorite pieces, inspired by The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, one of my favorite Zelda video games and my favorite video game series of all. What you're seeing right now is me just randomly doodling and drawing shapes and just sort of getting loose and getting ready for, the actual drawing. Initially, when I first start a piece, I will do a bunch of thumbnails, about 4 to 5. This helps me try different things faster without much fuzz and without getting into details too fast, a trap I fall into quite often. I love getting to the details as fast as possible, but you gotta first build that foundation, keep it simple, slowly chip at the block to bring out those finer details little by little. Now, for this piece in particular, I already had a pretty good image in my head of what I wanted from it and where I wanted it to go. So that's why you didn't see me spending so much time in the thumbnailing phase. In my mind, this is Link exploring the Forest Temple, one of my favorite locales in the game, accompanied by some of the best music. At this point in the drawing, I've got everything I needed from the sketch, and I've moved on to cleanup phase. This is usually the part that takes me the longest doing clean lines. If you look behind Link, you'll see a Skulltula, one of the enemies that is prominent in this area that I had originally planned to add to the final piece, but I decided to drop it during the cleanup phase. Alright, well, since this is the phase that's gonna take the longest, I thought I could use this opportunity to give you guys a little bit of background on me and who I am. Side note here, I am at the point where I'm trying to clean up that right hand that's holding the torch. It gave me trouble. Even after all this time, after learning all the body parts and studies on the hands, the feet, everything, hands still find a way to be part of my nightmares. Back to what I was saying. My original main goal was to work in the animation industry. I went to art college. I graduated with a degree in animation. I even did some work briefly for a studio, and I thought that was, me opening the door and my way in. Unfortunately for me, that door ended up closing, and then I just had trouble opening it back up. Soon after all that, some difficulties arose, some situations with family that needed my attention. I was starting to pay off my student loans, and then combine that with the fact that I felt like my art journey and career was getting nowhere. I got into a really negative headspace. Honestly, I gave up on art. I pushed it to the side, and I just decided to focus on the things that were in front of me and surviving, and art sort of just became a hobby that I would touch every couple months. And then the pandemic happened, and the rise of AI, and the current job climate, not just in the animation industry, but all over, really. But I digress. I think these are topics that we can touch upon in a different video at a later time. For now, here I am. I've picked up my art. I've built myself back up. I have a much better support system. And I'm pivoting, starting with this YouTube channel. Because after all is said and done, after all this time, art is my one true passion. I love drawing. I love being creative. I love putting pencil to paper, or in this case, stylus to screen or pad. I think that there's no greater feeling than when you put your art out there, or you show your art to someone and you see their face light up, put a smile on their face, move them in some way and inspire them. I think that is the whole point of art. To move and inspire the world around you. And that you will affect it in a positive way, even at the smallest capacity. Well, hey, now that you're caught up with me, let's get back into this drawing, shall we? We are well into the painting phase. Whenever there's a background involved, that's not just like a simple backdrop or a gradient. I like to work on the background first, or do enough that I have a good sense of what the lighting is and where it's coming from. That way when I start working on the character, I have an easier time immersing them in the scene. See here, I've started working on Link, painting him in, laying down the flats. Which, by the way, side note, I love Ocarina of Time Link's design. I think it's just timeless. So simple, yet so effective. Once the flats have been laid, I throw in the first coat of shade with a multiply layer using similar blues like the ones you see on the background. Now that Link feels like he's a part of this scene, I am going to go back on working on the background a little more, this time focusing on the walls. The wall behind Link and the pillar that's to his left. It might not look like it, but getting these walls to look and feel right was pretty challenging. To give it that depth that I wanted them to have, that illusion was hard to achieve. I'm going to be spending a good amount of time working on these walls, so you'll probably see me jump back and forth between working on the walls or the ground and then jumping to Link. Whenever I'm having a hard time with a certain element in a piece and I start getting frustrated, I usually move on to something else that would be easier to tackle, and then I'll go back to tackle the frustrating part, and I'll just keep on doing that back and forth. That way I don't just end up destroying the whole thing. Another good practice when you've hit a wall while working on a piece is to just take a break. Get up from your desk and walk away. Go do something that'll stimulate you positively, something that you like. Read a book, take a walk, play a video game, watch a TV show. And if you're anything like me, you're probably thinking, well, if I'm not working, then I'm just wasting time. And you'd be wrong to think that way, because taking breaks, taking care of yourself, is part of the artistic process. This is something that I am still learning, and I still struggle with it, because I always want fast results. I always want to finish pieces in one sitting. But, as the great and wise Jerry once said in Toy Story 2 while he was fixing Woody, you can't rush art. And now I've worked on the background some more, the walls and the pillar are more acceptable, and I've added the main source of light, which is the torch, which will help us bring some much needed warm tones, since the scene as of right now is way too cold and in need of some warmth. And for those of you wondering, I am using Procreate on my iPad Pro. And as far as the brushes go, nothing fancy, just the ones that come with the program. Here comes the warm tones. At the time we needed it most. Playing with lights is one of my favorite things to do. I love it. And it just really makes your pieces pop. And here I start adding the lighting to Link, both from the torch and the secondary source of light, which is right behind him. We're getting close to the end over here, so I think I will just let the video play and I'll be back before the end. So now you'll see me working on the last details, things like light particles, spider webs in the background, some finer details on Link, adding Navi because you can't forget her, add some textures as well as some tonal correction, and that's it. For those of you still here with me, I am grateful. Thank you for watching all the way through, and I will see you on the next one. Take care and always stay creative.